You know what I think that you guys are afraid of sometimes, even with us transitioning and going into the spaces that we feel like God has called us to? I think you guys are afraid of the audience. And the audience, not more so our audience,
Mhm.
but you guys' community and what they would say and how they would picture you and depict certain things. I think so. I think you guys have a lot, like, I think it's all about, well, what if this person says this? Or what if that person says that? And it's like, why are you focused? You would think that with the kind of children that some of you guys have, you would be so far gone from what people are saying, because we for sure don't care what people think. You know that. We don't care what people think. But you would be, I don't know, I just feel like that's y'all's biggest fear, is what people will think, and not really more so what serves us.
I think both sides. I
Okay.
think what people would think, and then we feel like, oh, what is the chances of success in that thing they want to do?
Mm.
Are they going to be independent? I mean, again, like I say, everything we do, every work we do is we want to make money. At the end of the day, we want to be able to take care of you. I want to be able to buy what I want to buy. I want you to be able to just enjoy yourself, travel, do things independently without restrictions. You know, I don't have this, I don't have that. And, you know, no, at the end, we just want you to be self-sufficient. Being able to take care of yourself is our number one worry.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people are not that so much care about what they will say, you know, because it is what it is. Some people will say, and then their kids they're having issues with their own kids. So a lot of times it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You know, so we still have to tell ourselves, and the main thing is that we think about, is there any success? Is there light at the end of this tunnel in this thing that this child is pursuing? You know, it comes in our mind all the time. And we, as parents, we have to worry. You know, and
you don't have to worry. It's a choice.
No, I mean, hey,
it's a choice to worry.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
The worry
You're
is
just dramatic.
Will this child make it? Will there be a light at the end of the tunnel? You know, what happens? You know.
Well, Mom, think about it like this. Anytime you feel like you want to worry, will there be light at the end of the tunnel? Is this sacrifice worth it? Think about when you came, that young teenage girl that came here at almost 18 years
18,
old.
that's right.
That came here by herself, and not that you even had dream. You just all you focused on was that degree.
That's it.
You know, think about you coming here as young as 18 years old, and you had to do everything by yourself.
That is true.
And mind you, your aunt and uncle moved back for what was it, 1 or 2 years after?
A year and a half. At 20, I've lived on myself by myself till I got married at since 20 years old.
Exactly.
So I made my errors, I fixed it, and I moved on. Nobody had to wake me up to go to school or wake me up to do anything. I have to tell myself that, hey, you're going to have to get it right. And then all that I think every day is, what will my mom say? What will my parents say? You know, am I making them proud? Or that's what, I think that's the greatest thing that got me focused. What will my parents say? Would they be proud of me, or are they going to be sad that they sent me overseas? You know, at that time, back in the early 80s, think about it. You're sending your child out in the early 80s.
On the other side of the world.
On the other side of the world.
Right.
You know, so it's like, will she make me proud, or she? But I'm glad my parents had the trust in me that, you know, it's going to work out, you know.
Yes, and I think, you know, and I'm not sure if this was your circumstance. I know after having a conversation with Dad, I mean, he came here. He went to Dallas first, and he was still sending money home, very, very young. And like, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe it's because there's two different circumstances. That's why we're kind of lax. That's why we're kind of like, well, we're fine. We don't have to worry about this and that. But you guys, some of you had to send money home. Some of you were not sponsored here. to come
Yes,
here,
I agree.
your parents sent you
Yeah,
here,
they sent me.
you know.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Some people's situation wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever me and dad are having conversations or disagreements, I understand where he's coming from. He had a different responsibility. He came here with his own money.
Mm-hmm.
He got his own everything. He came
Yes.
here alone. So, and then yet he was just sharing with me the other day that he remembers when he was, very, very young in his mid 20s, he was still sending money to his brother to
To
keep him
support
through
him.
school,
Mm-hmm.
and support him. And so I'm like, wow, I could never imagine being in my early 20s sending money to anyone because you guys were initially taking care of our bills for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't imagine that. So I can see why the hustle, why the mentality is security, security, security.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what happens when you just kind of sit down and you're quiet and you kind of listen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is the thing, what I always tell people, when some of our audience, when it comes to fellowship is that, the goal is not for you to agree, it's for you to just listen,
Exactly.
because I can't make anybody feel guilty about their experience. And, one thing about dad is he's very unapologetic about his experience. He's
Exactly.
very, very
He'll
unapologetic.
he'll tell you.
He'll tell you, and that's just what it is. But I admire that, as very, very that it could be. That's what, yes, whatever. But as very like brash as it can be at times,
Mm-hmm.
I respect it because, I think it's very important to, stay true
Mm-hmm.
to yourself. And sharing experiences a lot also kind of has made me sit down and really kind of like put the math together and realize, man, we just grew up, we're two different
Two
people,
different worlds.
two different worlds and two
Mm-hmm.
different times. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong, and just because you don't agree with it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, continue to like, put it down, their experience. But